All right, welcome to the Expert Exchange, the podcast where knowledge meets success. I'm your host, Josh Carnes, and on today's episode, we are going to be diving into real estate and understanding modern new construction, especially in the downtown Austin market, with our expert guests, Jason and Camille Carney, who are with Local Life Realty. You can find Jason and Camille online at localliferealty.net. That's localliferealty.net. With that, we're going to take a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
At Lion Business Advisors, selling a business is not just a transaction. You've poured your heart and soul into your business. It's not just a paycheck, it's your legacy. The team at Lion Business Advisors is here to guide you through the process, ensuring your successful exit. Contact the team at Lion Business Advisors at 800-525-3542. That's 800-525-3542, or visit us at lionbusinessadvisors.com. Lion Business Advisors. Let the story of your next chapter begin with us.
Jason is the Director of Business Development with Local Life Realty and brings 22 years of professional sales experience in both recreational vehicles and real estate. Jason is consistently exceeding his clients' expectations with his passion, hustle, and unwavering commitment to the client experience. Jason is a Texas native and has spent the last 24 years here in the great city of Austin with his wife, Camille, and two amazing children, Colt and Brooks. And speaking of his wife, Camille, she is also with us here today. Camille comes to us with a Bachelor in Arts and Communication from St. Edward's University. Shortly after graduation, Camille followed in her mother's footsteps and entered into a thriving Austin real estate market. It is said that clients are like family with Camille and living by the guided principles of consistent communication, attentive listening, and impeccable service. And if you're truly wondering about that level of service that they both provide, when doing some research on their backgrounds, if you go to their profiles on the Local Life real estate website, both of their profiles are just covered with client testimonials raging about how great y'all are. So a testament to there. But Jason, Camille, welcome to the Expert Exchange.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. So before we dive into today's topic of talking about real estate, downtown Austin real estate, and just what's going on in the modern new construction that we're seeing, why don't you guys just introduce yourselves? Tell me a little about yourselves, Local Life Realty, and what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I'm Camille. I'm with Local Life Realty, and I've had my license here in Austin for 20 years. I graduated from St. Edward's University. My mom was in real estate, and I decided to, take after her. And she said, I think this would be a great opportunity for you. And it has. It's really, it's been a roller coaster up and down, but I've seen the market change over the last 20 years, and it's been really exciting to see Austin evolve like it has.
You've seen a little bit of change.
A little bit of change, yeah.
So my name is Jason Carney. I'm with Local Life now. I've been with them for 3 years, working with my wife, Camille. Before that, I was in 20 years of recreational vehicle sales, RVs. So I have a long background of sales, and just instead of selling real estate, now selling real estate. So
that's a good one. So before we, dive too heavy into the real estate topic, I'd like to find out a little bit more about y'all, right? So how did the two of you decide to enter real estate together? Like, what did that look like? You've been here for 20 years, and then he comes along and goes, by the way, here I am. Wow, how did that play out?
Funny you ask, Josh. Accepted a position with a company down in South Houston. So the family was going to have to uproot and move. And I accepted the position thinking we were going down there. We made an offer on a house. Long story short, my wife was not extremely thrilled about moving down south anymore.
Wasn't going to have it.
She wasn't going to have it. So we had to backpedal a little bit. I had to let the folks know that I accepted the offer, that I was no longer going to be with them. And then coincidentally, out of the blue, a best friend of mine that I used to work with in the RV industry that has his own brokerage, Local Life Realty, called me that next morning out of the blue, not knowing anything, not knowing my situation, not knowing I was moving, any of that, and asked me to get into real estate with him and, come work with him at the brokerage. He'd teach me the way and kind of guide me and be a mentor and stuff like that. And here we are.
Nice.
So,
it's been I didn't know for sure if it was going to work because, you don't really think you wonder if you can work with your spouse on a daily basis. But with the real estate industry, you kind of do your own thing. And, we work on our own transactions, and it's been actually wonderful because we can feed off of each other. And it's been a great thing. I'm glad it happened and fell into place, and we make a better team together, than apart.
Nice. So speaking of that team aspect, what does that look like? How do you guys take advantage of working together in real estate versus just being an independent person who's out there?
Yeah. Well, what's nice is that when you're at home, real estate can be very lonely. It's you against the world. Mm-hmm. So having somebody that's in your household, that's not in the office, that you can, hey, can you go do this? And I'll go do this. And you can kind of divide and conquer, helps take a lot of stress off that just one person. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if she's got clients, I got to go get the kids, there's, when I was working for 20 years in RV sales, I was at the dealership most of the time. So she had to take care of most of the personal stuff because I had to be there. It was an hourly deal, or not hourly per se, but you had to be there from the time they opened to the time they closed. Yeah. So in this situation, we're able to help each other, and it's actually pretty amazing. So,
and he gives me those tactics and skills that he's used all those years being in the RV business and sales that maybe I wasn't as strong at. And so he will have my back and encourage me and give me, those pointers and advice on certain things. And then I can come back with all my experience that I've had with real estate, like contracts and, some of the negotiations and, what to do next, the steps that he isn't as familiar with. And so we just together work. We can kind of strengthen each other's skill sets and support each other that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you hit on the, taking turns picking up kids from school and stuff like that. So a lot of business owners, which I believe is what real estate is, and doing that, you kind of run your own show. They're always bringing work home with them and doubling that in. And with you guys both being in the same industry, in the same business, how are you guys balancing that work-life balance? Like, what does that look like for y'all to bring that home? Is it real estate 24/7 nonstop? Is there breakouts? What's that work-life balance look like for y'all?
Well, with real estate, what's one thing that is nice is you can just work from your laptop until you have to get to showings. So everything can be done remotely. But at the same time, you have to get out there and market yourself. You have to get out there and do open houses. You have to get out there and get with the people to get business. Mm-hmm. So what we try to do, our kids are in sports. Mm-hmm. So Saturday and Sundays are booked with, kiddos and football games, basketball games, whatever the case may be. So we try to divide and conquer through the week. I will do open houses Thursday, Friday. She'll do them Saturday and Sunday because I help coach as well. So then that leaves us free. Now, something could always change or something could come up, but we try to schedule those 4 days for 3 hours a day to do open houses. And then hopefully on that Monday, Tuesday, the next week, we can have follow-up and hopefully get showings, and then schedules could change. She'll be gone for one afternoon, then I have to take care of the personal stuff, and then vice versa. So.
Right. We make sacrifices for each other and our family, and to be there for our clients, 100%, because sometimes I have to, within, 24 hours, I'm telling him I've got to go show property out of town, and so he's like, well, I've got the kids, so we help each other out in that way.
And full disclosure, I appreciate that schedule because Jason has coached my kids in sports and him and I have coached together. And
there you go.
It's been a blast. So I appreciate you giving him the weekends.
Oh,
it's, selfishly worked out great for me.
There you go.
When I was in the RV business, I didn't have the weekends for 20 plus years. So getting them
is a new thing.
It's a new thing.
A new thing.
I didn't realize how many people were off work on Saturday and Sunday until I got off.
Right.
That's great.
He's enjoying the best of what Austin has now.
Yeah, exactly.
That he has his weekends.
Austin's got a lot of great stuff too. So speaking of y'all working together and stuff, how do you break out those roles? Are there roles and responsibilities that each of you take on within that real estate partnership? Does it kind of all mesh together? What does that look like for y'all?
So we just kind of use each other's strengths, like she was talking earlier. Like she knows the contracts and she knows the paperwork, and she knows kind of the relationships you need with other people. See, I don't know those relationships. My strengths come in sales, and I knew all that stuff with RVs, but just not with real estate. So I'll do her marketing, or I'll do her social stuff, or I'll do her.
He's really good at that versus I
can stay consistent with the market. Yeah, I can stay consistent with the marketing. I just need to get her out and open houses and meet the people. She does great with communicating. She's a very good listener. Worth places that I kind of fail, she thrives in.
We do support each other on each other's deals separately, but then we sometimes come together and we can help each other on particular deals. But I mean, I have my own transactions here lately, and he has his own. But when we need each other for support and guidance, and
just works.
We come together with all of that.
Kind of leverages y'all's strengths.
Yes. But like you said, I'll do some open houses. He'll do them during the week. I'll do them on the weekend, and then we bring our leads together and work them.
And then together. With the contract and stuff like that, I have a lot of questions, so I just fall back on her, where most people have to call their broker and wait and questions. I have somebody in the house that's 20 years experience, so it makes my job a lot easier too. So
yeah,
that's great. No, it's I laugh because of our industry gets compared to real estate a lot, and the industries intersect. And it's, I think we don't have to do open houses, and I'm watching you two play off that and do all that. I'm kind of excited. We do showings, but we don't do open houses, and I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're fun.
With new construction, people want to see what's always new, so it's always really easy to catch, because people don't always get new construction, but they always want to see it.
Yeah.
So that's where you can catch them early enough in their process, and then they kind of knock themselves down, and it's easier to knock them down than going to show them a house like on a resale and then having to bump them up and then take them back down. So they're already starting at the high, the newest, the latest, the greatest, and then they're coming down, which is much easier to sell to. So,
so speaking of new construction, can you guys kind of dive into the differences of a true custom-built home versus a spec home with maybe some customality to it? Like, what's the difference there for the average consumer?
Well, I mean, a custom home is usually when someone buys the lot and they custom build from foundation all the way up. And a spec home is what, a builder builds, and it's set to a certain, floor plan, finish outs. They're already chosen. And they usually follow a pattern there with their other spec homes. But custom is built to the client's needs and expectations. And, the custom homes, like I said, it can be through a builder, and then you can choose their floor plan also, or you can just customize with your own
custom. You're making
custom
your own floor plan. You're making your own dimensions.
Everything's
you're not buying the floor plan from the builder.
Right.
That would be spec.
Okay. Perfect. So, when you're getting into new homes, I've heard this, home inspections, warranties, and that type of thing. How do warranties work for new construction, and what do they typically cover? And is there a difference versus the spec and custom, or how does that lay out?
Well, new construction is 1-2-10. So 1 year fit and finish, 2 year appliances, washer, dryer, or not washer and dryer usually, but dishwasher, refrigerator, AC, so HVAC system.
All new constructions are mostly 1-10. Some are 2-10. I've seen, but 1-10. There's 1 year, showmanship, defects, which is all the cosmetic things on the interior, like lighting or cabinets, and 2 year warranties covers your mechanical
HVAC
defects,
furnace,
all of that kind of.
Appliances, and then 10 years the structure, it's the bones, it's the ribs, it's the actual
foundation.
Right.
No, not foundation.
Not foundation.
No,
it's
structure. It's structure.
It's a structural, but not foundation.
Not foundation.
It's a big difference
Big
to
difference.
know here in
Yes,
Texas.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so that's why I always tell them it's your bones. Like it's like the skeleton that you see.
And there are certain neighborhoods throughout Austin that have more, foundational issues than others based upon the trees, the maturity of the trees in those neighborhoods and the age of the neighborhoods. And, I know a lot of those neighborhoods because I've been in real estate for a long time and I've had that experience in those neighborhoods. So I know where to, and you shouldn't be afraid of that.
Yeah.
It's always good.
It's just knowledge.
It's just knowledge.
That right there is probably worth its weight in
Right.
gold, knowing the different neighborhoods and
Yes.
which ones are going to have
And a
these
house that has
issues.
foundation issues, there's a very large level of, problems and so you shouldn't steer away from a house like that. It just depends on.
You just got to know what you're going in
You
for.
got to go. Yeah, you got to know. And if it's been, repaired and has warranty and all that, you should be fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We're kind of talking about like new construction and things like that. So how do y'all work with developers, or how do developers market and promote those new buildings for a potential homeowner?
Developers are like builders, I guess the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, the main thing is they, for example, spec homes are builders like your KB, your DO. They have spec homes that they have people sit in Monday through Sunday. So that's how
Like a constant open house.
just constant open house, trying to just catch people as they're driving in the neighborhood and stuff like that.
And they offer those incentives.
And they also offer bigger incentives. Builders will offer a larger commission than a resale will offer.
Really?
They can get up as high as 7%, even higher. So
Nice.
you'll get those incentives that you'll get from the builder. They'll offer any type of concessions where it's like, $10,000 in closing costs or, $10,000 rate buy down, whatever the case may be. They can have some
especially
kind of
right now. with
Yeah.
the rates being
have
higher.
some kind of concession, and then the only other way is getting real estate agents to hold open houses on the weekend and market their stuff.
Mhm.
Paradisa Homes, they're on HGTV, so they're
That
getting
helps.
they're getting their look, and especially with custom homes, there's hundreds of custom builders out there.
There's a lot here in Central Texas, it seems like, too.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of development going on in general.
Oh, big time. And especially, also staging is a big thing that they do that really entices people to want to buy because it just, with the new construction, it's just all new and sexy and clean and, and then when they stage it, it's just gorgeous and it's hard to pass up.
When none of your stuff's in the houses are pretty nice and clean.
No.
It's when you
All
start
the
adding,
space.
Yeah.
when you start adding
Right.
your stuff, and then it just gets cluttered.
We could all live in a staged house.
Yeah. Are there any big projects or development that you guys are working on or, that people should be aware of that's coming out? Like, what's the hot area in town right now?
East Austin
East Austin.
is hot area.
East Austin, and then you're also your Allendale, Crestview, Brentwood.
Yes, Crestview. Yes, all that north. I call it North Central, and people are like, "Well, what do you mean by North Central?" I mean Central Austin, but north of the central area, off Burnett, between Burnett and Lamar.
Okay.
And Crestview, Brentwood, Allendale,
East Austin, Mueller.
East Austin, and that Mueller area, really popular.
Blowing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of food, a lot of great food places, a lot of entertainment, a lot of one-offs, it's not a bunch of chains. It's close to downtown, with Austin redoing the skyline and redoing, UT's, campus with new Moody Center and all that stuff. It's just getting more desirable down there. Rainy streets all cleaned up and, so.
And we're really marketing to that next generation. There's all those people in their 30s that are now even late 20s, early 30s who are buying in that East Austin area. I would say maybe between 40 and 50 in that Crestview area. It's a little bit higher age bracket or 40 to 55. But Central and East area, it's that next generation. That's the young adults who are all wanting that walkability, that close to downtown and all the activity.
What's that website? I mean, they even have like walkability scores now.
Yes,
and stuff
they
like
do.
That, right?
Yeah, I know. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because that's what people are looking for. They want that downtown like leisure lifestyle where they can just commute everywhere easily into all the hot spots.
Perfect. As far as a kind of market outlook for 2024, we're fairly early on in the year. Rates are high. I know that affects our industry for business sales, right? It's kind of in our industry, it has somewhat adjusted prices. It has not turned into, the difference between a seller's and a buyer's market, right? We haven't had that full switch in business sales. Have you guys, where are we at? Are we a seller's market, buyer's market? When does that switch hit, and kind of what does that look like going forward?
Well, we're not all the way in a buyer's market yet. They're saying we're still in a seller's market. However, there's a lot for buyers to choose from. So we're kind of slowly moving that direction. There's too much inventory right now, honestly, for buyers to choose from. And that depends on what area they're looking in, I'll have to say. But as an overall, like within our 5 counties that we, market and work, it's still a seller's market. So still a great time to sell as long as you price right. And interest rates, are higher than they have been, but they've come down. And actually, I've seen
they've really stabled out.
They've stabled out. And this January has really shown a shift. Usually it's not very busy and we don't see much demand until like late February, early March, we start seeing that,
spring break, the kids are getting out of school.
Right after South by Southwest.
But this January, it took off. So it's been nice. And that for the future is looking, promising. So that tells me something about this next year.
I just think people are realizing rates aren't going back down to 3 and 2. Like, you just got to understand that.
No.
But they're not 7 and 8 anymore, and they're in that 6, and you can buy down to 5 and all that other stuff. So they've stabled out, and I think that's what's bringing people out to like, look, I can't wait to get my house that's going to hold all my memories.
You can't wait for the market to change. If it works for you fiscally,
date the rate.
Do it. Yeah.
That's great.
Marry the house, date the rate. Yeah.
No, and it's here in Austin too. I just think it's different, right? It's Austin. You're buying the lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's it's not out in the middle of nowhere. So it absolutely is a marry the house. It's get into where you want to be.
Right.
And Austin's kind of broken out, I think, to a lot of neighborhoods too. So you want to choose your lifestyle around those neighborhoods. And I think it's beneficial to have someone who's been around for 20 years to say, do I go east Austin? Do I go south of the river, north of the river? Right. Like those are two different worlds. I'm a north person, so I don't go to North San Antonio, south of the river.
And, it is kind of crazy how Austin's not a huge city, but our different areas, I mean, it's growing, but compared to Dallas and Houston, obviously, it's a very small city that's growing way too fast. But all the different areas are just completely different in lifestyle. And just, it's like North Austin's completely different than South Austin, the feel of it.
Yeah.
And the demographic and, the neighborhoods. So, it just depends really on your price point and, your vibe.
So you guys still have
your
I would go price point vibe.
Price point, you guys still have all those 5 bedrooms for $250,000, right?
Oh, we would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not a thing in Austin.
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
I don't even think you find anything in Hutto for $250,000. Not anymore.
You can't. We've been looking. There's nothing.
I know, right?
Yeah. So, we're kind of bouncing around, just talking about real estate in Austin, which I love doing. We kind of hit on warranties and things like that. So what role do inspections play in those people getting houses? Is it a different role for a new house versus a resale? What are inspections?
With the builder, it's much easier because you have your warranty that they're going to be supporting.
The builders provide their own.
Yeah. Well, once you get the inspection, you give the inspection report to the builder, and the builder would normally go down and fix most. They're not going to fix everything, but they'll fix more than a resale person would probably fix, because resale, that's out of the buyer's pocket, not out of the the seller's pocket, not out of the builder's pocket. And builders have guys that can fix those things
already around because they're building one next door. So it's go over and fix it.
Correct. So you get a lot more done. Plus you have your 1 to 10. And then on a resale, you may only get 6 months if somebody pays for the
No, it's a year.
year.
Yeah, you get the seller will pay usually, and this is negotiable for a resale. 1 year's the buyer's home warranty or residential service contract, so that they can get anything repaired by one of those companies.
Mechanical, usually HVAC, not fit and finish, not structural, none of those things. So,
but the inspection is what he's talking about, and so you can usually negotiate, on a resale with the seller to repair or repair any items prior to closing, or give money in lieu of.
Is that a big negotiating piece that takes place a lot?
Very big. It's like a separate, like after we go under contract, I tell my clients, now where you get to negotiate again, if need be, where you can't just ask for anything. But if it's something important, a safety hazard, this is your time to ask the seller to compensate or
change the color in the bedroom.
Well, maybe, no. I don't know if they're going to do that. They could. Everything's negotiable. Yeah.
Perfect. So, we're kind of hit on just some of the trends going on. What are some of the trends you guys are seeing in interior design and just, comically we walked in and you guys were picking out lights and all the stuff like that already. So what are some of the trends you guys are seeing in Austin for interior design and general?
It's really modern, and it's very open. Like everything's wide open floor plans. So normally your kitchen, dining, living would all be kind of somewhat separate. Now it's kind of all like one huge entertaining room, and then everything's very sleek. Everything's very smooth, clean looking. You have your waterfall islands now where,
those are nice.
Usually now kitchen tables are somewhat of a thing, but not really a thing anymore because people are using their kitchen bar tops
like on the islands.
So, and then bathrooms are just getting out there. Now they got the big showers with the tubs in the shower, where it's like an all-in-one deal. And,
and lighting is really beautiful. They've got the sconces on the walls that add a little, ambiance and modern, style. And then one of the builders, Paradisa, and probably a lot of the other ones I noticed, put the lighting underneath the
they're like free-flowing cabinets where they don't go all the way to the ground, so they can light the bottom.
Yes,
so you can see like little walkways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So that is, I love,
but it's always changing. Like you can't keep up with the trend. Like it's always
Guardian Builders is one that our broker represents, and we do a lot of open houses. So Guardian is a beautiful product, and they have a lot of the waterfall, islands and the pretty lighting and the openness and the beautiful floors. And they use high quality.
Wallpaper's on a comeback.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
That's true. He is right.
Wallpaper is on a huge comeback, and it's fancy wallpaper, and you can't even tell it's wallpaper.
I don't see that in all of our
bathrooms.
New constructions, but some of our high end, they've been putting the wallpaper on,
like the 80s floral.
Yeah, like either the
floral design, but it's some of them are, but they're more modern, and some of the stuff you can't even tell it's wallpaper, because they have that vinyl wrap, so you can only imagine what they can print now on wallpaper from the 80s to today.
Yeah.
Most of them are just, like what do they call it? Just one wall. What am I thinking?
It's,
oh gosh, I'm having.
Here we go. Take this out.
But I have seen fully wallpapered rooms here lately, and one of our friends, Dave Scott, who is a contractor, he's been doing a lot of wallpaper jobs. Yeah. His wife told me. So it's obviously coming back around. It's a new, interior design, thing that people are wanting. And the fluting that we said, in here, I'm seeing a lot of that.
What's one of the funnest projects? So I like to ask this with everyone. What's one of the funnest projects you guys either currently have or have worked on recently where you're just like, that was a blast. I'm grateful I got to represent that seller or that buyer or that house. Or is there a builder that stands out like that?
Every project's so different, and everyone's rewarding in a different way because they're so different. So for
Are you just trying to not tell people I'm your favorite client?
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Well, I mean, I'll use my last client for example. Everything was going, we thought was going 100% just cruise speed.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get 4 days before closing and title has not contacted the lender.
And those are hiccups that happen. But, you know, it's how fast you can get back
and
on
that's
track.
not necessarily a fun project like you're asking.
Yeah.
But then that's how our projects are brought up. You know, then now it's a project because I didn't have one before. But at the end of the day, the lender got it done. Everybody worked really hard, quickly. Now we know that the lenders can actually get things done a little bit quick. Sometimes
that's for sure.
They put on, but
yeah,
you know, it is what it is.
It depends.
They all have compliance and things that they have to go through as well. So, but you know, all this new construction downtown is fun.
Is it?
I mean, it's so modern. You know, they don't look like normal houses. You know,
and they're fun to sell because they're easy to sell. They sell themselves. Yeah. You just have to tell them, you know, what they offer and show and compare them to others and meet their needs and fit the consumer into what they're actually looking for. So it's important to listen to the consumer, find out their location, where they're looking, their price point, and know exactly where to, you know, help guide them where to go and finding them that right product.
Do you guys represent more sellers or buyers or an even mix? Like what's the ideal kind of client ratio for y'all in that?
It's an even mix.
Yeah. And for me this past year, it's been a lot of buyers because of the open houses we've done. So I've picked up a lot of buyers. But you can also pick up sellers in those open houses, obviously, because, you know, if they do own a house, most of the time they'll want to sell. Sometimes they rent it out and then move to their next home. But this past year for me has been buyers, but it's usually 50-50.
Do you see that a lot with like all the companies and stuff just bringing people in? It's they move in, they rent, and then they buy, or
people finding the area that they want. They've never been to Austin before. They move downtown.
And they want to get to know the areas before they just jump the gun and invest in something in an area where maybe they didn't want to be.
Yeah, so my clients were like down on Rainey, and then they recently moved up towards 50th Street, per se.
Nice. So I had a blast talking to you guys about real estate. We could probably do this all day long. If someone's listening and they want to get a hold of y'all, what does that look like? How does someone reach out, start the process with you guys?
Yeah, you can contact us by looking up our website. It's my name, CamilleCarney.com, CamilleCarney.com. And we will promptly return your call and get in touch with you, and we would love to do business.
Awesome.
We value our clients, and we love what we do. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
So, if you enjoyed the conversation here today and you want to keep the conversation going, you can connect with us on social media. You can find us on X at the EXP Exchange, or visit our website, theexpertexchange.pro. That's theexpertexchange.pro. And for more resources related on today's episode, or if you want to reach out directly to them, as she said, it's CamilleCarney.com or localliferealty.net. Remember, success is a journey, and we're thrilled to be a part of yours. Thank you for joining us on the Expert Exchange.
All content on this show is information of a general nature and does not address the circumstances of any particular individual or entity. Nothing in this show constitutes professional or financial advice, nor does any information on the show constitute a comprehensive or complete statement of the matters discussed or the law relating thereto. The Expert Exchange is not a fiduciary by virtue of any person's use of or access to this content. You alone assume the sole responsibility of evaluating the merits and risks associated with the use of any information or content on the show before making any decisions based on such information. In exchange for using the content, you agree not to hold the Expert Exchange, its affiliates, or any third-party service provider liable for any possible claim for damages arising from any decision you make based on information or other content made available to you through the show. The Expert Exchange is not licensed to practice law or provide legal advice. Nothing contained within this show is intended to be an offer to either buy or sell securities.